Now, because a constitutionally reserved seat on Ghana's Council of State remains empty at a time the country is preparing to amend the constitution. More than 2 months after government promised a replacement for former Chief Justice Sophia Kufu, President Mahama is yet to name one. Questions are emerging over whether the delay is merely a procedural practice. There's more in this report by Noble Crosby Annan.
Justice Sophia Kufu submitted a resignation from the Council of State in September 2025, although the presidency only publicly confirmed its acceptance in June this year. Government said at the time that processes were underway to replace her, but more than 2 months later, no replacement has been announced. Under Article 89 of the Constitution, the Council of State must include a person who has previously served as Chief Justice, appointed by the President in consultation with Parliament. The Council of State Act 2020 Act 1037 also provides that where a vacancy occurs, that vacancy shall be filled. The law, however, sets no specific deadline for the President to make that appointment. And Article 92 makes clear that the work of the Council is not invalid simply because there is a vacancy. So, the Council can legally continue operating. The question is, how long can this constitutionally designated seat remain vacant? At least 3 former Chief Justices currently fit the constitutional description: Georgina Theodora Wood, Kwesi Eniniabwa, and Gertrude Tokonu. Justice Tokonu may, however, be considered politically unlikely following her removal as Chief Justice under the Mahama administration. Legally, though, Article 89 does not distinguish between a former Chief Justice who retired from office and one who left under other circumstances. It simply requires someone who has previously held the office. But here is another possibility. The current Chief Justice, Paul Bafoboni, turned 70 in December, the mandatory retirement age for a Supreme Court Justice. Once he retires, he too would immediately satisfy the constitutional requirement of having previously served as Chief Justice. Is the President waiting for the current Chief Justice to retire before filling the vacancy?
Well, that's a question we continue to ask. We continue the bulletin now because Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Gold Board has challenged Minority Leader Alexander Penyumarking to invite him to Parliament to answer questions over claims that the institution incurred losses from its gold trading operations. Sammy Jemfi, during the Government Accountability Series, mounted a spirited defense of his stewardship, saying he is ready to appear before Parliament to prove that claims linking Gold Board to losses under the Bank of Ghana's domestic gold purchase program are unfounded. Take a listen to him.
There have been calls for an inquiry into the circumstances leading to the loss of some $1.7 billion under the domestic gold purchase program DGPP. Claims, counter-accusations, and several interpretations have emerged from a report authored by the IMF on the economic financing of the country. The minority says it will not relent in its call for accountability. In a fierce rebuttal, Chief Executive Officer of the Gold Board, Sammy Jemfi, says the IMF's report clearly identified the domestic gold purchase program as the source of the losses rather than the Gold Board.
You don't look at that and say, oh, that means Gold Board was doing something wrong. I can tell you that as we speak, the IMF and the Bank of Ghana are all engaging Gold Board that they still want to be our fiscal agents under the Gold Board model, where they will be raising money for us as an intermediary. It is the Gold Board that is rather saying, no, we will do it ourselves. So that claim is not.
The minority in its address hinted at a possible criminal inquiry into the activities of Gold Board. The CEO has called their bluff.
Penyumarking's continuing antics must therefore be seen for what they are: a desperate smear campaign by persons who have specialized in sophistry and political blackmail in pursuit of selfish ends. These are devious extortionists who will come at you with lies to tarnish your reputation.
But in a sharp rebuttal, the minority in parliament has maintained its demand for accountability over the reported 22 billion Ghana cedis loss under the Domestic Gold Purchase Program, DGPP. The minority says the Gold Board CEO's response confirms rather than refutes the reported 1.7 billion US dollars loss identified by the IMF under the program in 2025. It is therefore demanding further clarification from Gold Board on the financial performance of the program. The Roads and Highways Minister Kwame Governs Abuja has expressed anger over the slow pace of work on sections of the Temaplau Road, criticizing contractor First Sky Construction for what he described as little progress over the past 4 months. He made the remarks as he began a nationwide road inspection tour in the Greater Accra region aimed at assessing the progress of major road projects and identifying challenges affecting the completion.
This road is just about 17 kilometers. What we've been complaining about is that right from the beginning, I get the impression the contractors do not intend to do the work because I don't see any activity. It's 17 kilometers.
That's the Minister for Road. Meanwhile, Emmanuel Cherry, the CEO for the Ghana Chamber of Construction Industry, says a contractor cannot be blamed.
It can be a natural phenomenon that possibly may be beyond the control of you, the contractor. It may be either accidental or any other means. It can be financial challenges. It can be engineering challenges and what have you. But in this particular quest, you realize that from April, May, June, July, we normally hit our major rainy seasons and what have you. And then if that happens, he may start work by end up coming back to do remedial works, which is going to cost him.
Emmanuel Cherry speaking there. He's a CEO for the Ghana Chamber of Construction Industry. Now, the Accra Circuit Court has remanded 49-year-old Nigerian Augustine Okechukwu Mazi into police custody for 2 weeks. The Nigerian suspect was arraigned before the court following a failed robbery operation at Laboni, which led to the killing of 2 other suspects. Lord Eduasari brings us this report. We'll bring you that in our subsequent bulletins. Just before we go, just weeks after some operators at Laboma Beach were giving a 21-day ultimatum to address structures within the Pishi Lagoon enclave, they are now engaging government in a collaborative effort to restore the waterway. The intervention forms part of broader efforts to improve drainage and reduce the risk of flooding in the area.
When torrential rains battered part of Greater Accra in June, several communities were left submerged. The flooding renewed concerns about poor drainage, choked waterways, and development believed to be obstructing the natural flow of water. Attention later turned to the Kweshi Lagoon at Laboma Beach, where authorities raised concerns about encroachment within the lagoon's buffer zone. On August 7, the Greater Accra Regional Security Council visited the area, marking some structures and issuing a 21-day ultimatum for the necessary action to be taken. Operators say they are working with government and other stakeholders to dredge sections of the Kweshi Lagoon and improve the flow of water.
I'm in the process of collaborating with the Assembly where we would have water flowing from beyond, and I keep saying from beyond the bridge, because you just pan your camera, you realize that the water is stagnant beyond the bridge. So if it's beyond, if the stagnation is beyond the bridge, it means the impediment is beyond. After all, there's never been a situation where the street over there or that bridge has experienced flooding.
The dredging is expected to help clear accumulated silt and other materials that may be affecting the free flow of water.
That's how we wrap up this morning news on 3FM 92.7. Please log on to our website, 3news.com. My name is Christabel Success Trevor. Thanks for listening. Business is up next.